Deep winter. I was stationed alone at an unmanned fire lookout north of the Smokies, a tiny cabin bolted atop a 50-foot steel tower, accessible only by a ladder that rattled in the wind. My job was simple: monitor the barometric pressure, report trail conditions, and keep the equipment from freezing. The snow came in sideways for 3 straight days, piling drifts 6 feet high against the tower's legs. The world outside became a blank white void, and the isolation settled over me like a second skin. The third night, the wind died completely. That was the first wrong thing. In a blizzard, the wind never just stops. The silence was immense, pressing against the cabin windows like a held breath. Then I heard it, a child crying, a thin, reedy wail that drifted up from the snow below, circling the tower again and again. My first thought was a lost hiker, a kid separated from a family group, but no one had been reported on any trail within 20 miles. I grabbed my spotlight and aimed it down through the icy window. The beam caught a shape moving between the drifts, hunched and pale. It raised a hand, and I saw it had too many joints in each finger, the digits bending backward like spider legs as it beckoned. I radioed the district office, but the storm had cut the line days ago. The crying continued for hours, shifting subtly over time. It became less like a child and more like a recording of a child, with tiny glitches, a skip, a stutter, a moment where the pitch dropped into something guttural before snapping back. Around midnight, changed into a low, clucking laugh that vibrated through the steel frame of the tower, making the pots rattle in the sink. Then I heard the lock on the ground-level hatch click open. The cabin had one entrance, a heavy steel door in the floor, and I'd secured it with a deadbolt and a chain. I heard the chain scrape, heard something thin and wet squeeze beneath the door, and then the hatch in the corner of my cabin began to lift. I grabbed my sidearm and pressed myself into the corner behind the wood stove, the only source of heat. The hatch rose slowly, fingernails black, overgrown and curled like old wood shavings, curling around the edge. The creature pulled itself up in sections, joints bending the wrong way, its body so emaciated I could see the bones shifting beneath skin the color of old tallow. Its skull was elongated deer-like, and bore antlers of bare, bloody bone that scraped the ceiling. Its eyes were deep-set and glowed with a yellow, jaundiced light. The smell hit me next: rotted venison, copper, and something sweetly foul like decayed flowers. It spoke without moving its lipless mouth. The voice was inside my head, calm and conversational, using my own inner monologue against me. "You are so warm inside," it said. "So much heat. I have been cold for so many winters, Ranger. Let me in and I will make it quick." I fired 3 shots into its chest. The bullets passed through as if hitting ash, leaving smoldering holes that sealed themselves with a wisp of frost. It smiled, and its jaw unhinged vertically, revealing a gullet that descended into an absolute darkness full of tiny, chittering sounds, teeth or tongues or both. I remembered the old Cherokee stories my grandmother told me as a child, the ones I'd dismissed as folklore. Spearfinger, the liver eater, the thing that starves but can never die. It wasn't a legend. It was in my cabin. It was hungry. It had been waiting for someone to be alone in the deep cold, where the veil between the world and the old world thins to nothing. Desperate, I threw a lit kerosene lamp at it. The flame caught its papery skin, and it shrieked, a sound that shattered the window and made my ears bleed. The cold roared in through the broken glass, and the creature folded backward down the hatch like a reverse spider, trailing black smoke that smelled of burnt hair. The crying stopped. I fed the stove until the cabin was an inferno, the heat so intense the paint blistered on the walls. At dawn, I climbed down and found tracks. Not footprints, but long, sweeping drag marks that led into the deepest drifts, and then simply stopped, as if the thing had leaped into the sky or been absorbed by the snow itself. I was airlifted out that afternoon. I never spent another winter at that tower, never took another solo posting in the cold months. But whenever the temperature drops below 0, I hear a child crying in the chimney flue. The sound is patient, endless, and I know it's still hungry, still out there in the blizzards, waiting for the next person to be very cold and very alone.